Welcome, welcome, welcome. Just quickly finishing up some Cardboard Live features. It'll hopefully be live pretty soon, but as it's pretty new, I'm just checking it out. Cardboard Live, Cardboard Live. That should be good. So close. Hopefully that's good. Nice. Cool. Okay. So tonight, we are luckily enough playing Dark Maverick. So pretty keen to swing this one back. The last two leagues that we've done, it's been a case of 5-0 and 4-1, so done pretty well with it. The Leovold wasn't doing too bad, so I was actually going to take that out and perhaps add in another card that I'd really like to play. I can't think of the name, but where were we? I think it was a Council's Judgment, but I've got to have a good think about this. Scrib Ranger's there, Scavenging Ooze, Gaddock Crystalic Pride Mage, Tireless Tracker as the one-ofs. The sideboard, there was one more card and I'm totally blanking on it, but perhaps it's just Mindbreak Trap. Mindbreak Trap is pretty good against combo and we don't have too much else. Actually, we have some pretty good combo cards. So perhaps it might just be a Path to Exile as a little bit extra oomph against the fair creature matchups. I could also add in Mark of Asylum or something like Winter Orb. Although Winter Orb isn't that great because we do have the Ramunap Excavator and other cards. Tendrils could be a thing. It really could. But it's not going to be a thing in this deck. So Sultan McTaylor, I am sorry to take that out. Think of a green card and go with the Dougal. Just Sorcerer's Spyglass. Pithing Needle, there we go. Pithing Needle's always a pretty good one. So we'll bring in the Excavator as a little bit more. We'll bring in the Rex Sage. I think Rex Sage has a little bit more to do than Excavator. So yeah, here's the list. Sadly, it seems like Cardboard Live is not showing, which is a little annoying. But that is more than fine. Let's go ahead with this. We will play Junk Maverick. We'll use play points. Hope you guys are well. It's Thursday here in Australia, if that's where the majority of you guys are probably from. But yeah, pretty keen to play some leagues. First up with Maverick, and then I'm not too sure what's next. But we'll see what happens. Have some fun. So we found our first match, which is awesome. Might as well get some tunes going as well. Big Tycho fan, if you are hopefully a fan of Tycho. We would love to play first. Great way to start the game. It is a one-lander with a bird. We also have the Verdant Catacombs to Green Suns. So I actually think this hand is actually pretty good, so we're going to keep it. We might just straight away Verdant for Dryad Arbor, which is a pretty powerful play. I do have another Green Suns for later on, which is good. I could also go the birds. So maybe it's actually the birds here that takes priority. And then the Green Suns can just stay away for a little bit longer. Hopefully drawing into a second land, but if not, we can of course just try and Green Suns for either Dryad Arbor or another 1-drop. Something like Noble Hierarch would be sweet because it has the added Exalted effect. So waiting on my opponent. Hopefully not a combo player just trying to figure out if their 7 gets them there. Could be as well just... oh, Ancient Tomb. Okay, so Simian Spirit Guide, Blood Moon, sort of Fire and Ice. Interesting. So looking to be an equipment package within this deck, but I'm not too sure what it is. So that's a little bit interesting. The Sylvan Library I feel is going to be the best card right now, so we might get this down. We are losing a land drop, which is unfortunate, but I'll work on my sound in the meantime. Hopefully that helps a little bit with the sound. Please let me know. Interesting to see them use a Simian Spirit Guide to get out this sort of Fire and Ice. Perhaps this is some sort of... okay. Interesting. Some sort of D&T deck. Walking Ballista is very good. That's fair enough. So we will use Sylvan's Library. Hopefully get a Wasteland. Do not hit a Wasteland, which is unfortunate. But what we can do is put back this Thalia. We kind of want to keep this Hierarch. So... I'm going to say Knight's going to be the best play. So I'm pretty happy to pay 4 life and keep this. And here, just play out this Knight. We are going to get most likely hit by the Recruiter, but this Knight is a 3/3, so it'll trade, which isn't too bad. We can then, of course, Green Suns for 2 for Qorsali Pride Mage, which is a little bit better. But yeah, it would have been great to have a land in the graveyard. If they hit a land, they can play a Ballista for 2. If not, they can equip and trade. Wow, okay, so now they can Ballista for 4 if they want to. Which is also pretty good. But our plan here really is interesting, so just for 1. So they do have the option here to actually deal the 2 damage to the Knight of the Reliquary and finish it off with the Walking Ballista. So sadly, I'm kind of inclined to block here. There's not too much to do. And there goes the Ballista. So not too sad about that, but we'll see how this ends up. Sword in hand. If this was a green, it'd be awesome because we could Green Suns and Hierarch. Obviously, that's not going to be the case. Pretty happy to put back the Skoos and the second Thalia. And then here we can just Green Suns for 1 for the Dryad Arbor. And hold up the Caracas. It gets us a shuffle, which is probably the best part of this. Because we don't want to keep drawing that second Thalia and the Skoos. But they're looking great here from a mana perspective. They do have access to 5, if not 6 mana this turn. There's a Thalia, which isn't too bad because we do have this Caracas. So a little bit dead, if anything. So here we'll return Thalia to the hand. Draw plains, which isn't too bad. A wasteland would be great. A wasteland is there, so we'll put this back on top. And then we'll also put this Noble Hierarch on top. We'll play the wasteland. To be fair, I should have played the Tireless Tracker first and then played the wasteland. But that is fine. I'm pretty happy here to play out this Hierarch. Two cards on top aren't the greatest, so I'd be happy to green suns again to shuffle, but of course I kind of want to get Kusali Pride Mage, so here I'm pretty happy just to hit this Ancient Tomb, get in for 2, and then just pass turn. Five cards in hand for them, so it's not like this game is going to be quick. Happy to make a land drop, can probably put away this Green Suns, and the second Hierarch isn't too relevant. So what we'll do here is play this Tireless Tracker, play a land, get a clue. And then is the 2 damage worth it? I kind of want to keep up the clue. So I'm pretty happy here just to pass, and then next turn make up for it. If we crack the clue in our end step, we pretty much get another counter for the Tireless Tracker, so we're really just losing out on 1 attack. And nothing, so it looks like it's an Eldrazi kind of based D&T deck, so I'm pretty keen to take out my combo hate in Thalia and Gaddock Teague. Abrupt Decay seems sweet. Zealous Persecution seems okay. Pithing Needle could be worthy, but I'm pretty actually happy to bring in Thoughtseize just as a way to get rid of some of their bigger threats in hand. However, they could actually empty out their hand pretty quickly, so Excavator seems sweet, as Wasteland seems really good. And perhaps something like Pith Needle is worth it, just for Walking Blister, at least. It is a target we've seen already, so pretty happy with that. This could also be a Chalice deck, so there's Abrupt Decays are going to come in handy. This hand is okay. We have some removal with Kusali Pride Mage, we have some tricks with Scrib Ranger. We don't have removal or access to black mana right now, but I feel like it's a bit of a mull. There's not too much going on. The Scrib Ranger can act as a mana dork and ramp us a little bit into a Green Sun, so I'm actually pretty happy to keep this and see how we go. It's a pretty good hand against something like a turn 1 Chalice, which they don't have. Wasteland's pretty good because I don't want them to turn 2 Thought Knot me, so I'm pretty happy just to Wasteland there. Ballista for 1, interesting. Okay. I don't really care about the fetch land right now, so I'm pretty happy just to play this Forest and pass turn. There's a city. This could be a Thought Knot, which it is. Can't really do anything in response, so it's gonna resolve. I'm going to assume they take either the Kusali or the Green Suns. Green Suns being for something over like a higher threat. Scrib Ranger not really caring. Yeah, so they're going to go for the Pride Mage, which is a pretty good hit. Not too sure if I brought in my second Reclamation Sage, but we'll see. So here, pretty happy just playing the Windswept Teeth and passing. Sword of Fire and Ice is going to be good. They have a Cavern of Souls, which is even better because I believe they have one floating. So this could be over pretty soon, sadly. Here I'm just going to fetch up for a scrubland, and then untap. Pithy Needle's not the greatest, but it does give me some sort of answer to the Walking Ballista. However, I am on 9, so I think what I'll have to do is play the Needle. Name Walking Ballista, and then just pass turn, and then jump at the Script Ranger. Hopefully Green Sun's into a Knight of the Reliquary, and seeing if that gets there, but it's going to be pretty tough. So we'll flash this in, go to blocks, we'll block this Sword of Fire and Ice because we have to. Go to 5. Means we can't fetch anymore, because then the Thought-Knot Seal would be lethal. Wow, okay. That makes it a lot tougher. There's nothing I can really do there, and we're just going to have to concede. So, still pretty happy with how I boarded. On the play, Thoughtseize actually seems pretty good. The Zealous might just not be good enough. Script Ranger doesn't do too much, sadly, other than some tricks with Wasteland and Knight of the Reliquary. Mother of Runes as well in a color against the colorless deck isn't the greatest. They might have Swords to Plowshares being a white-based Eldrazi deck, but yeah, this hand sadly a mull. It's just a bit of lands. This is going to have to be a keep. Sadly, we have the Dried Arbor in hand for the Green Suns, but hopefully some white mana on top. It's not. We'll put it at the bottom, and we will pray. So I'm pretty happy to play out the Dried Arbor first and pass. If they play something like a Walking Ballista for 1 and kill it straight away, that's a little annoying. But right now the Dried not being too much of an investment. But yeah, they're going to take it out, which is a little annoying, but more than fine. Another Swords isn't great, and this isn't looking too good. Having to draw into multiple lands to really get this hand going. Stoneforge is pretty good. Jitte, okay. Losing their city in the... Hey, that's exactly what we wanted. That's great. So what we'll do here is go and get probably just a Plains. We don't want to get Wastelanded out of the game. And then play this Stoneforge. We'll get Batterskull, and then we'll pass turn. It's nice to know that next turn they can't really Thought-Knot the Batterskull out unless they have Soul Land and Simian Spirit Guide. A land isn't really what we want here. We do just want to pass to get this Batterskull into play. If they do try to attack him with the Jit, we could also play the Swords to Plowshares. If they use their turn to actually equip the Jit, I'm pretty happy with using the Swords here. Smash is pretty good as well. However, if they do attack in, I can just next turn attack in for 4 and gain 4 life, so that's more than fine. So here we'll activate, put in the Batterskull, get the Germ, and get to untap. Draw a Sylvan Library, which isn't the greatest. We do want to use the swords next turn, most likely, in response to an equip. So we'll get in first. And there's nothing we can really do here. If we want to keep up the swords, it's a little bit unfortunate, but it's all we currently have. So what I'm happy doing here is actually swordsing the Smasher, pitching the Tireless Tracker. Everything else has a really a good amount of value, so not too keen on just letting it slide. Hierarch isn't the best, but it's a little bit better than nothing. We want to get this Stoneforge out of the way now. And now we get to swing in for 5 with this Batterskull, which is pretty great. Having 3 mana next turn as well is pretty good. If we draw into another land, we can Green Suns for Qasali Pridemage and blow something up, which is great. That's pretty gas right there. So they will get to destroy our board. I could take this chance to double block. Then they can use the last mana to kill either of these and the Hierarch. I could let it through and see what happens. I have the Pithing Needle, which is nice. So I'm actually just gonna take it. It is annoying because we do have this needle. Interesting. So what we'll do here is play the needle. They're going to gain some life, which is more than fine. We will name Jite. We'll play this library. And then we'll go to attacks, and we'll attack with all creatures. We don't really care about blocking this Smasher. Mainly because we're gaining 4 life a turn, so we're technically only taking 1, which is nice. Thor, very nice to see you. And a Noble Steed Maverick tonight. Yeah. With the Black Splash, so splashing for Abrupt Decay, Zealous Persecution, and Thoughtseize on the board. But currently in match 1, game 3. On the ropes, this is going to be pretty tough. Containment Priest is pretty good. If they're playing Eldrazi Displacer as well, then that's just insane. Just because of what it can do with Containment Priest. But not attacking, interesting. Oh, GT myself is very nice. Interesting. So I think I put back... I put back the Mum. And I'll put back the Green Suns. And then here we'll go for a Green Suns. Could have actually kept the second Green Suns to be fair. We'll get a Hierarch here. Just to get this Exalted online. And now we can actually swing in for 5, which is nice. Ah, wow! The Containment Priest, I'm an idiot. I am an idiot. So I believe here we're just going to have to pass, sadly. So the Containment Priest, of course, stopping Green Suns pretty good in its tracks. And another Containment Priest, interesting. So hopefully that doesn't come back to bite us. But that is pretty rough. This is more than fine. I'm happy to take it. Hopefully nothing in their second main. Something like a Thought-Knot Seer would be pretty bad. Yeah, this is Maverick. The black splash is here. Okay, so we get a fresh draw, which is nice. Bird's not really what we want. These two not too bad. So we will keep... We'll put the Decay on top. And then I'm happy to keep this Wasteland. I do want to take them off a bit of mana and get to the stage where I can actually equip this bird with the Batterskull. I played the Jet. I didn't really need it because I totally forgot about the Pithing Needle. This could be Dismember, which is pretty rough, but not the worst either. So we are at 13, which is a little tough. They're at 0 cards, so the Sylvan Library is going to start doing some work, but we're going to have to really start getting this Batterskull online. Revoker's pretty good. Somebody taking 9 going to 4, and I'm not too sure what I have on top that can really get me out of this. Especially when I know that the... when I know that the Abrupt Decay is on top, so I can't really block. I think I'm just gonna take this and try to hope that I get somewhere with this library. But yeah, Revoker is pretty good, especially naming Batterskull. So I sadly believe I am just dead. I died of the trample for sure. I can block there, but then I'm taking 4 anyway, no matter where I block. So this is just game. Sadly, that Green Suns just wasn't really what I wanted to be, especially when they had Containment Priest out. That was a bit of a misplay, but you live and learn, I guess. Especially as a player who has cast many Containment Priests in my time. But yeah, not the start that we wanted. Eldrazi a little bit tough, especially against mid-range decks. We just don't have the real tools to deal with anything bigger than full converted mana cost. So Abrupt Decay doesn't do too much, and our creatures just don't get there either. But hopefully get back into it with this next game. But yeah, Maverick's been a sweet deck. Really enjoyed playing it so far. Green, white, black are just such fair colors, so to be able to play a pretty fair deck in a format like Legacy that's pretty unfair, it's always a nice feeling when you can find the win that you really want. Yeah, definitely. I totally forgot about it. And to be fair, when I had extra mana up, there was a stage where I had 2 mana, and I held it up to cast the Swords to Plowshares. I should have used the other mana to actually just cast the Pithing Needle and use it straight away. Because yeah, that Jit definitely got there as well. Taking out a Hierarch and just hitting my mana pretty effectively when I really wanted it to stick around. So this hand's pretty good. Sigarda's better when there's more, when there's a little bit more to do. There's no reason to not fetch here. Just to get a forest and Green Suns 4/1 just for Dryad Arbor. I got the forest because I want a pretty stable mana choice. Fair enough. Early on, and then hopefully next turn I can get this Thalia online, or if it's a fair matchup, this Knight of the Reliquary would be nice. Volcanic Island into Ponder? I feel like this Wasteland and Thalia are going to be really good, which is great. So we'll see how this unfolds. I'm pretty happy here to play this Thalia. Doesn't get forced, which is nice. And then I'm more than happy to trade this Dryad Arbor for this Delver, if they're up for it. I'm assuming not. And then we can untap and hope it doesn't flip. It is now a 3/2, but holding the Delver of Secrets artwork, which is a little weird. Ah, of course it didn't flip. That's my bad. So what do we want to do here? I'm pretty happy to play the Wasteland. And then get this Knight of the Reliquary on board. Playing the Wasteland first, we have some days back up. But we'll see what they have. Delver usually being a pretty good matchup. If I can land this Sigarda next turn, that's nearly game. However, I will need to try to fetch up a second white source. This could definitely be Grixis Delver. It could really be any Delver right now, other than Death Shadow. Happy to attack here, mainly because they're most likely not going to trade, and we do have a backup blocker on the ground in Knight of the Reliquary, which will be very soon a 4/4, which is great. And I believe with the way that sacrificing Wasteland works, they won't be able to bolt the Knight in response to the Wasteland, which is great. They do. I'm actually going to Wasteland them here to play around something like Stifle, or if they're wanting to daze their own spell. I don't believe they would be able to anyway with Thalia out, but it's just nice to now have a 4/4 Knight, and my opponent down to just a single mana. The Flooded Strand kind of gives me a little bit of hope. Oh, they're actually going down. Oh, Dismember. Okay. That's fair enough. That's more than fine. Right now, I'm going to be winning this race anyway, so please Dismember away. Still no flip from this Delver, so that's two shots they've had. There's the Trop, so most likely looking at Frog. There's the Goyf. So that pretty much sums it up pretty well. So I think right now the plan is to try to get this Sagada on board pretty fast. Another Night of the Reliquary, although, is really good because here I'm going to be able to play the Knight, and then I'm most scared of their threats, so I'm going to take them off green here, and then just pass turn. Hopefully being able to untap with the Knight and start wastelanding them out of this game. I can also next turn Knight for... I do need white mana, so I can't actually Knight for Cradle and play the Sagada. I will need another white source. But there's a Bolt, so that's step one to getting rid of this Knight. But with Thalia around, it's going to take some time if they're wanting to double bolt it. One card that Maverick does have a bit of a bad time dealing with is True Name Nemesis. So perhaps it's also correct to try to keep them off 3 mana at all times. They're most likely going to swing in with both creatures because they do have a Bolt in hand. I'm not really keen on letting them kill this Knight, so I'm pretty happy to let it slide. This is going to become a damage race, so I'm going down to 12. They do have a Bolt in hand, so if they go Bolt, draw Bolt, that is lethal. So I will have to be pretty smart about how I play these next few turns. Interesting to see that they went for the Dismember in the main board. So it's kind of a flex slot. A lot of decks play Dismember or Folk Bolt. They might play Wild Slash to play around True Name Nemesis. We'll see what we draw. Script Range is pretty good, especially as a blocker. So what can we do? Oh, I have a pretty cool play. So I believe we can play this Scrib Ranger for 2, tap the Savannah for white, and then untap it, and then untap the Knight. So what we'll do is we'll play the Scrib Ranger. We'll hopefully be able to cradle into this Sagada this turn. So what we can do is float a white, sack the Knight for this forest. Hopefully it doesn't get stifled. They are fetching, which is interesting, which is fine. We do have the Scrib Ranger to be able to untap this Knight as well, which is quite good. So they might be going to stifle this, which is fine, because what we can do here is untap the Knight, return the Savannah, go to attack phase. We do have a white floating, we don't really care. Swing with both. Play the Savannah. And now we can pass. And in that upkeep, we can actually try to untap this Knight. So we have double blocks. bolting the Scrib Ranger, which is fine. Playing a Wasteland. Interesting, no attacks. Noble Hierarch's pretty good. This Wasteland's most likely going to take care of this Dryad Arbor. So I'm actually quite happy just attacking in with this Knight of the Reliquary. They can't bolt it either. So here we'll just attack in. With the Knight. I could have also played the fetch land and fetched to play the Noble to get this above both Tarmogoyf and the Insectile Aberration. Which is definitely what I should have done. But I'm not too fussed. I think I will sadly time walk myself. So what we'll do is play a Savannah. We'll play a Noble. And then we will pass. I'm actually pretty keen to try to keep them off True Name if they do have it. So I'm more than happy to sacrifice the Dryad Arbor to get it. So pretty bad turn for me, obviously. Optimal play was probably playing the fetch land to get a green source to play the Noble to actually swing in with an 8/8 Dryad Arbor, or 9/9, sorry. Oh no, 8/8 because the Wasteland would not have happened as well. Interesting brainstorm. So they did actually have they may have not they have used their bolt already on the Scrib Ranger, so their optimal line is probably a 2-turn clock with 2 bolts and 2 attacks with their Delver, but it looks like that might not be the case. Another Delve was pretty good. Attacking in the air, which is more than fine. Bayou's not the worst. They are tapped out, so I can actually fetch for this Savannah. I was supposed to get Cradle so I can cast this Sigarda. Obviously, that's not my right reasoning. So I'm happy to swing in with both here and put the pressure on, I believe. They could block the Goyf with the Thalia, but I'm more than fine with that happening. They would then have to give away their other Delver. This game has been pretty poor on my side, really. A lot of optimal lines that I knew I should have taken, but just haven't taken. And hopefully this game doesn't slip away. They are at 3, so this Thalia taking them to 1 is pretty huge. But okay, interesting. So that's going to happen. And then we're just going to pass, sadly. So only instant creature land in the graveyard. Perhaps not even going for the bolt, which is quite interesting. Making this knight pretty huge in the meantime. We will have to block. And there's the goose. So the goose is loose. So sadly, this this is looking pretty bad. This is just game. So not great. Not great. A lot of big issues there. I'm bringing in the chokes. That's a certainty. The excavate is pretty good with Wasteland because they don't play basics. The abrupt decays are pretty good as well. What I don't really like is the Gaddock, the Qasali Pride Mage. Perhaps I like it a little bit better than the Rex Sage, so we might keep it in for something like Sylvan Library. Although it might just not be the right choice. On the play, we can probably drop down a Thalia. I don't know why I thought I had to get another white source when I had the Noble Hierarch. I could have easily gotten Gaia's Cradle and, of course, played that Sigarda, which would have been great. Sage for Ord. Not too sure what Ord is. Unless Orb is Winter Orb, which I don't believe they would bring in against me. We do have the Abrupt Decays, which is actually quite nice. Rashad and Port, very cool to see you. Welcome. Hope you're having a great night. I'm actually keen just to maybe cut on a land, and perhaps that's gonna be a fetch land. So pretty happy with this. We'll see how it goes. We should have really got that first game, which is a little bit annoying. We're gonna mulligan this hand. This isn't the greatest either, so we might have to mulligan this. It is a one-lander with Dried Arbor, and I'm pretty keen to mulligan it. This hand's sweet. Caracas, not what we want right now, so we'll put this on the bottom. With this Verdant Catacombs, we're gonna fetch up probably a basic forest against a Wasteland deck, especially when we're pretty tight already, and just play out this Noble Hierarch. That's very true. Zealous Persecution is a great way to answer True Name, and even an early what is the name? Very cool. Hello to all the modern folks at Good Games Upper Mount Gravatt playing modern. This isn't going great. Yeah, Zealous Persecution is a great way to get rid of True Name, and also early Nimble Mongoose. You can always snap a Delver of Secrets as well if you get there. Ponder's fine. Ponder's a card that I'm not too scared of, which is great. But yeah, really threw away that first game, which is not the greatest. Can't really do too much here. Wasteland's pretty good, sadly. But nothing from them, which is interesting. So we'll just pass here as well. There's the trop for the Goyf, which is pretty good. But this is just not going too well, so we'll 6 through. Pretty rough going to 5. And not letting that Goyf. Yeah, we'll concede there. I think we'll concede pretty much. Yeah, that's gonna be concessions. So, pretty shitty start. Could have really played a lot better in that first game. CBR MTG, very cool to see you. Angus, I presume. If chat is unaware, CBR MTG have some pretty awesome content. Angus himself plays on Sunday nights with Legacy. More sort of brews and just kind of a nice chill way to spend your Sunday night. And then Nick, I believe, plays on Tuesdays. Usually with Elves, but he's been floating around with Maverick and a few other decks, which is pretty cool. And Ramo39, a stream Jace the Mind Sculptor winner. Good to see you in. You don't play garbage, you play some sweet decks. So a big shout out, because yeah, it's very cool to see. I was actually watching last night. I found the match of myself against Jitesh when you commentated, and you liked my Warping Whales in my D&T deck against Miracles. But here's match 3. So hopefully coming back. We've won the die roll on all 3. This hand's pretty stellar, so we're going to keep it. We'll use the Verdant to go get a Savannah. Yeah, no, I loved your reactions for the Warping Whale, especially the second one. No one expects the second one. So we'll get a Savannah. We want both these colors online pretty fast, not only for our creatures and removal, but also for Green Suns later down the line. Hopefully not an Ancient Tomb. It's an Ancient Tomb where Mother is just useless, which is pretty funny. And here's a Blood Moon, which... I can't do anything. Blood Moon's pretty good. Blood Moon's really good. Blood Moon is... Blood Moon. Okay, so... I think we're just attacking him with Mum here. Yeah, Blood Moon's really good, but not too sure what to do to now. Hopefully not playing something like a Goblin Rabble Master. That would be pretty lame. Even like a Chandra somehow with some other Simian Spirit Guides, that would be pretty sweet. We do run basics, so it's not a dead cause, but this is going to be tough. That's a Chalice for 1. That's pretty good against my Mana Dorks. Oh, there's a Dried Arbor, which is a creature. So we'll get in here again. There's no point not attacking, which is great. And we do have, you know, a 9-turn clock. So every piece of damage helps. Ooh, Crystal Vein. One of the best cards in Legacy. Arguably a better City of Traders, but you never know. Okay, there's a Rebel Master. That's pretty good. This is going to be tough. This is going to be really tough. That token's going to get in. And we're going to untap. We're going to play our third mountain. And it looks like we just got a pass. At least this mum is a pretty good answer to these goblins. But they can get out of hand pretty quick. Especially if this is a Khan's pretty good. Can't really do much against the Khan. Gonna make a construct most likely. We'll give them the Chalice. I'm more than happy getting a mountain. So we'll block a token. And then before damage, we'll give Mum Pro red. Hierarch, of course, uncastable with the Chalice out. So we're just going to have to pass again. This is... Hey, thanks. Yeah, the overlay is a work in progress. But we'll see how it goes. This is actually the first time I've played against Big Red on Magic Online. I have played against it a few times in person, but you never know. You never know. I do like it in person because a lot of the time Red Zombie players miss their Chalice triggers, which of course on MTGO they can't. So that's a little tough. Chalice on 2 is pretty good as well. Do you think any of the new cards will impact Legacy? Yeah, definitely. I think Trophy is pretty cool. I think it will have more of an impact in Modern, but I think it's quite nice for, say, Bug to have just a clean answer to Jace. Could have blocked there. This game's over. But we'll talk with chat. The other card also is the strict upgrade on Reclamation Sage, which is really good. We're just going to concede this game. It's more than done. There is that creature that comes in and gains 4 life, puts 2 +1/+1 counters on itself, or destroys target artifact or enchantment for a 1 green and white, which I think is a straight answer for this deck over Reclamation Sage, for sure, any time of the day. So bringing in Erupt Case, bringing in Pithing Needle. Thoughtseize isn't the worst. I actually like it on the play. Yeah, Knight of Autumn will be sweet in Maverick. I think Reclamation Sage will stay the same in Elves, of course, because it's an elf. But yeah, those are the 2 main cards that I'll probably be looking out for. So what don't I like here? I don't really like multiple Thalias. The Mums are okay, but I might drop 1. The Gaddock Teague's actually pretty good against Planeswalkers. And doesn't really stop me too much, which is nice. The Stoneforge package is great against Rabble Masters because their tokens have to attack into our Jits and Batterskull. The Sigarda might be a little bit too much, especially in a Wasteland deck. So maybe the Pith Needle isn't worth it. Yeah, Arts Trophy could definitely see its place in Nick Fit as just another catch-all. Especially when you're already getting a lot of basics out of your opponent's deck. When it comes to the stage where they have none left, that's where Arts Trophy really shines. I might even drop the Scrib Ranger. Scrib Ranger actually helps with Blood Moon because I can actually use my basics more than once. So perhaps it's just a Thalia. It could be a Knight. Knight's pretty good. Knight's not the worst, not the best with Blood Moon, so they obviously saw the Blood Moon was really good. They're probably going to stick with it. We will stick with this hand. It's pretty good. Mainly because we have the turn 1 birds, and that just gives us both our mana. So we'll play this forest into a birds and then hopefully get Knight of the Reliquary online. They might end up chancing for 1 this turn. That's probably the worst thing they can do. Basic Mountain. That is fine. Drawing our planes is pretty good as well. So here I'm pretty happy to play this knight. Consecrated Sphinx is very cool. I think that's a great card. There is Magus on the Moon, which is fine because we have these Swords to Plowshares. So pretty happy to Swords the Magus. Play this Quasali out. And then sacrifice this Savannah for a Wasteland. And just take them off a bit of mana with the Ancient Tomb. So from a board presence perspective, we're definitely ahead, which is great. Mana as well with this bird. They don't have a lot going on, which is great. This Cradle's insane, but I don't want to play it right now. We'll get in for 5 here. Creeping Chill. Interesting. I don't know what Creeping Chill is. There is also that 2 blue, give a card in... You can cast a card in your graveyard, which is quite cool. I think there's a few decks that might want it over something like Snapcaster. Not too sure what, but I'm sure that the format will figure itself out and find out what it wants. So here, if they do play a Chandra, they can kill this Knight of the Reliquary, which is pretty good for them. It leaves me with the lonely Quasali Primage to start attacking. Pia and Kieran is pretty good as well. However, I do have this Caracas and the sword. So I don't really want to get rid of these because I do have... This is actually quite interesting. I think I want to go all out on my mana. So I think we won't attack. There's no real point attacking. So what we might just do is Swords the Pia and Kira, play the Thalia, and then get rid of the plains to get another Wasteland and hit their Ancient Tomb. Knight of the Autumn, there we go. Knight of the Autumn is yeah, just a strict upgrade in decks that use Reclamation Sage for its Quicksmith Rebel. When it enters the battlefield... Oh wow, okay, so it can deal... This artifact deals 2 damage to any target for as long as you control Quicksmith Rebel. Oh, okay, interesting. This can actually get rid of the Quasali Primage, which is pretty good. Not a card that I've seen before, but I can definitely see why it's in this deck. Hitting the Quasali Primage there, which is very good. I would love to draw into something like Equipment. That would be pretty cool. Noble isn't going to do it. I could go after their mana again. So I might even play this Hierarch. And then just attack in with both of these guys. This is tough. I think I want to get in with the... If their game is Blood Moon, they can start pinging down my Hierarchs, which is pretty rough, but I think this Knight's gonna get there anyway, so we'll attack with both. Play the Krakus, and then we'll pass turn. We'll keep this Cradle until we get something that we really want to play, like a piece of equipment. But yeah, this deck can definitely be a pretty big turn 1 Blood Moon on the play when we're on the draw can be a really big issue, especially if we don't have a starting creature. So there's Magus, which is fine. It's going to turn off this Caracas, but I think we're happy with that. I could return this. I could try and no, that's fine. I want to keep this Thalia on board and start attacking with it. If they try to kill it, that's more than fine. No attacks, I assume. They'll want to keep back blockers. Canopy's nice, but of course that Magus is an issue. I think what they wanted to do was block with the Thopter and the Quicksmith and then deal the 2 to Knight, so they didn't have to double block here if they wanting to. Yeah. So here we'll definitely play End of Damage. We'll play this Canopy and draw a card. Another Hierarch. We'll play it and pass turn. Hopefully not something like a Ballista. That would be pretty insane. 4 mana could also mean Khan or Caracas? Khan or Chandra? Attacking first, so it looks like they have some sort of... Maybe the 5 mana command for red? That would definitely suck. So there's Fiery Confluence. Modes, 2 damage to each opponent, 1 damage to each creature. I might as well return this Thalia, and then it's gonna happen. Pretty good. Baby's not really what I want, but I'll play it. And then cast this Thalia, and then pass turn. Something like another Knight would be pretty gas. If they do play Blood Moon, I do have this Forest to play other mana dorks, which is nice. Chandra's pretty good. That's gonna happen. Oh, not what I want. Don't really want to play either of these. So just gonna pass here. Something like another knight would be insane, but really need to draw it first. Yeah, I really need to get around to sub badges and emojis, emotes for sure. I just need to find a designer to put some together, really. Could have floated white there, didn't float white. That's going to really hurt. And this is looking like it's over. This is going to be game. So yeah, tough matches, but I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick, and then I will be back. Nice. Alright, let's get on to this next league. Oh man, that would be sweet. That would be very cool. I'll get on to you for sure for that. So yeah, this league is not going well. But perhaps I'll just have to back it up with another and try to get there, because yeah, even going 2-3 is just not good enough. Some big misplays though have really cost me games. But only human, and that is just part of Magic sometimes. But yeah, I think some of those new cards will be pretty good in Maverick as well. I think Assassin's Trophy could see the sideboard for that, but I don't think it's a clear replacement for Abrupt Decay. I think people really underestimate A, the ability to ramp your opponent, and B, the uncounter ability as well. I did not see what you did for your moats. I'll have to check it out. Is CBR MTG doing anything for GP Melbourne and Legacy side events in regards to coverage? They're very cool. They are very cool. Yeah, cool. That's awesome. That's really cool to hear. This hand is okay. We're gonna keep it. We have a white source in the Catacombs. We also have some early disruption with Wasteland, which is nice. If this is like a D&T mirror, then it's not the greatest, which is pretty sad. So here what we'll do is play this Catacombs and pass. Hopefully snag something with swords in the end step of their turn. And then play most likely the Jit first. Oh. Oh. Okay. This could be Miracles. So we'll get Savannah. Play the Bayou. And we'll hope this Quasali sticks. Sorry, this Thalia. There could also be a back to basics deck, so this could really hurt us. They will, of course, either have to swords end step and then play the back to basics, which they will do the swords. Hopefully not back to basics, because that would kind of suck. There's the third island. But luckily enough, nothing. So here again, can't really play around back to basics. We could play at this Pride Mage, but I feel that this Thalia is going to do a lot more work. Predict. What do they name? I'm assuming they name Island. They could also name Force Wheel if they don't have Force Wheel in hand. Yeah, they know Island and they got it. Wow. So, that's pretty good for them. Oh, no tap out yet, which is nice. There's a forest, which is good. So here, I'm pretty happy to... I don't want to go too wide and play two creatures, but at the same time, Snapcast into swords is a thing. So I'll think what I'll do... I'm going to play the Jite, leaving up the white for Qasali, and of course the forest in hand to play Qasali if they do play back to basics. But first we'll try to get in with this Thalia. And then just pass turn back. There's Snap. And here is going to be Sword Splashes. Yeah, I could definitely have attacked first. There's no real reason not to attack first. I mean, in Magic, it's usually best to make sure that you give away least of your information and that you just use your second main phase as your only main phase, if possible. I don't want a swords here, because I could play something like Mentor. But that's not what's going to happen, which is great. Could also play Batterskull. They didn't have Counterspell for the other cards. So, sorry, for the Thalias. Maybe because they knew they had the swords. So they could just have... Oh, they have Predict. Interesting. They know the card, of course. It's a Tundra. They're gonna fetch, and then I assume... Counterspell? Yep. It's pretty good. Yeah, no, I mean, Exalted works really well if you cast main phase, of course, but other than that, this deck doesn't have too many things you should be able to do in your first main phase. Maybe sometimes Green Suns, but that's about it. Ponder into Jace would be pretty backbreaking. Really Jace against any board. There's a Mentor. It's pretty good. There's a Ponder. So even with the swords in hand, this Mentor is going to do some work. Yeah, accumulated knowledge is cute. I don't know much about miracles. I don't know much about how good accumulated knowledge is over potent in, say, the grindy matchups against the other ones. I'm actually gonna just try to get this Sigarda online. That's game. I've seen accumulated knowledges do really well. It was pretty funny on Legacy League today, or this morning for us in Australia. BBR went turn to accumulated knowledge, and after that, Jarvis Yu went to surgical it, and he had another 2 in hand, which is pretty hilarious. So here I'm pretty happy with the Thought Seizers, the Chokes. The Excavator doesn't do much. I usually trim a Knight, and 2 Mums, 2 Swords. I do like Decay. Probably like 2 Decays over the Reclamation Sage. Haha, that's very true. I never thought of that, but yeah, that does seem pretty funny. Perhaps just 1 Decay. I'm pretty happy with that. Canonis can come in, but it kind of wrecks us as well. In a D&T deck, I usually bring them in just to hedge against Snapcaster Mage and slow down. Yeah, I should bring that in. This hand is pretty bad. Doesn't do a lot. This hand is even worse. And this hand is even worse, but it's a 5er, so we'll put that on top. We'll go Forest into Noble and see how this works out. I should get some commands going as well. I've been pretty stumped with time, but happy not to see a turn 1 Sword Splashers, that's for sure. I'm assuming they're actually a little bit better against my threats rather than attacking my mana. But mulling to 5 and being down to 3 lands, they could still attack my mana on a pretty bad mull, so there's always reason. This could be forcible. It is a pretty good threat, and if they don't have a good answer to the Batterskull, then you never know. It's going to be forced. Most likely. There it is. Putting down a Jace, so a little bit of a win there. It is a 2-for-1, so you can't be too unhappy with those. And now I get to at least swing for 2 a turn with a 3-powered creature, so Snapcaster isn't even a great ambush viper, which is a little win. If I draw Sigarda, I can cast it. Don't draw it, but I draw a pretty good card in Green Sun Zenith. The question is, do I want a Knight? Haha, cheers. So here I'm pretty happy to just fetch for the planes to play a little bit around back to basics. And cast this Green Suns for 3. I can't really play around Counterspell. This March Flats can't get a basic island, which is a little win. But I'm assuming that's what's going to happen. There it is. So 5 cards to no cards. This is not looking good. But yeah, Maverick compared to D&T, which is probably the deck you can most compare Maverick to. has a pretty worse Maverick matchup, especially because you don't have an Aether Vial, and Aether Vial is just so much better with creature-based decks compared to the Green Sun's package. We'll attack in again for 2, most likely a 3 with this Delta, which is kind of nice. So do have a bit of a clock. It's not the fastest clock, but it'll get us somewhere, which is nice. A lot of Legacy players like to fetch in their upkeep, but of course with me, with no cards in hand, there's no real reason not to fetch in my end step. Snap Ponder, I assume, is going to be what they're going to do. Unless they have another fetch land. They did just play the Plains, so of course that's not going to be what they do. Snapcaster as well, just acting like a fog, so that's pretty tough. A Sylvan Library off the top would be a really good draw. It's definitely my best card in the matchup. Dried Up is not going to do it. Not even trading, which is interesting. So obviously not a Terminus on top. Could be a Jace, which is pretty good. So perhaps the reason to play the Dried Arbor was for next turn attacking the Jace for 3 and actually trying to get through a little bit extra damage. Not too sure what I can draw here other than Abrupt Decay. Haha. Still doesn't kill it, sadly. But we can get the Jace down to 1, which is nice. I'm going to assume there's a Terminus on top, so I want to keep this Dried Arbor in hand, which is a little annoying, but no Terminus, okay. Just a Supreme Verdict, which is pretty good as well. We'll play our threats and we'll pass back, but this is looking like this is looking like an 0-4, which is not great. But yeah, just missing some really key points this game, which isn't the greatest feeling. Another Brainstorm is not good either, because it just shows that they have a pretty strong hand. It can deal with these threats quite easily. Fan of this. So what can I do? I can draw a card first and see what, get a little bit more information. Mum's not the worst. We'll swing both at Jace. I'm guessing this can be like a sword snap swords here. That's rough. I can't beat that. Not on a 5. So, the L's are stacking up. So it's not a great night, but hopefully we can finish strong. And then perhaps even play maybe another league just to try to get there. Because there's no way in hell I'm finishing on this. I'm not too sure how you look at your game records in MTGO. Yeah, pretty rough night, but it's pretty good because you learn a lot. You definitely learn a lot from your losses, and where you could have played better, which obviously tonight is a few key areas. But yeah, haven't gone 05 yet, and it's not looking great. So, Noble C, thank you very much. So where are we? Account, game history. Could do a meme stream, but sadly have no meme deck. So, actually, I do kind of have a meme deck. I have Eldrazi. I do have Death and Taxes from GB Sydney, where you saw the stream. So that could be an option. Colorless Taxes. With the Warping Whales. And Woodleaf Leisures. And Gutshots. Which is most likely what this stream is going to be after this game. If we don't do well. Hey, I have a lot of respect for Maverick, so it could be a meme deck though, especially for what it is. That is really kind of you, CBR MTG. Not too sure what meme deck I would go. I do feel like the colorless D&T is a bit of a meme, and a meme that I would enjoy playing. We won the die roll, that's great. We have a pretty shitty hand. We have no greens, we have no white source. So we will not keep. I'm not playing ley lines. This is tough. I think I'm pretty keen to keep and then just Green Suns for a Dried Arbor and go from there. I think that with one white mana, this hand is just too good. So we will Green Suns for one. What is JPA? I would love to know what JPA is. Oh, who is JPA? And what does he usually play? Do I want to know? Ugh. Oh, there's Savannah, which is great. So now we can hopefully play this Thalia. It's going to get there, and now we get to get in for one, which is even better. Sneak and Show or Jesco Pyro? Okay. I'm going to say Sneak and Show with this. Oh. Fair enough. I feel like this Wasteland kind of wants to go after the Volk. But we'll see what happens here. We drew a Savannah. So we can at least attack in first. And then play the Stoneforge, I guess, getting Batterskull perhaps. If they have Show and Tell, then the Batterskull's at least something I can put in. And then mana-wise, I think I want to hit the Ancient Tomb. Even though it doesn't take them off a color, taking them off 2 mana is a lot better than taking them off 1 mana right now. So I do not know anything about the Cockatrice project, sadly. Sounds pretty cool. Have done a fair bit of testing on Cockatrice, so... Oh, Galactique seems insane. Correct? So what do we do here? I believe we attack in with the Thalia first. Let me play this Teague. Teague does stop sneak attack. There's the Force pitching Fluster, which is pretty much a dead draw anyway. So let's just pass with this Stoneforge up. I remember donating for the project. I just want to go back to Magic and looking for some MTG testing lab. Any suggestions, sir? I feel that Cockatrice is still around for sure. I believe you can still use it as a testing project. Ooh, now the Reliquary. So here we can get in for 3, 4, 8, which is pretty good. It turns off that Ancient Tomb. So I don't see a reason not to attack here with everything. And then playing this Knight. Yeah, X-Mage is actually really good as well. I would go with X-Mage. CBR MTG is very correct there. So we get game 1, which is pretty huge. So we can take out the swords. We can take out a Mum. The Stoneforge package isn't the best. Because we don't have the sword, it doesn't really get us there. Bring in the Thoughtseize for sure. I'm pretty happy with the Pithing Needle and the Chokes. The Canonists are also really good. Perhaps keeping in a Mum is pretty good. Or maybe a Swords. I do want a way to deal with the new 3 mana creature where you can, I think, draw a card, discard a card, and then create a copy of a creature in your graveyard. So maybe Abrupt Decay is actually pretty good here. It can also hit something like Lotus Petal if I really want to attack their mana. Surgical for Intuition is pretty good, but I'm not too sure if they're on the Intuition package for this deck. So until I see it, I probably won't bring it in. This hand is sadly a no-no. This hand is fine. This hand's pretty good. Sagata, you can go on the bottom. So we'll go Forest into Needle. Alright. So I'm just going to name Pluto Delta because I can. Hopefully he has a few others in hand. I was going to name Sneak Attack, but if I can hit their mana, then I'm pretty happy with that. Ooh, Wasteland's pretty good, but it doesn't do anything right now. So here I think we'll just play this Mum and pass turn. If they show and tell in Emrakul, I can at least put in the Knight to get Caracas. Wishy, I know, I gotta get there. I really do. So what am I wanting to do here? I believe I want to play the Cradle. And then get this Knight into play. It's only a 2/2, which does suck. It can get hit by something like Kozilek's Return or Pyroclasm. Not so much Pyroclasm because of the Mum, but these isn't... Okay, cool. This isn't great. There's sneak attack, which is pretty good. So maybe naming the polluted delta with... yep, that's fine. A little too cute with the Pithing Needle, really. So we'll see how we go. Play the Scrubland and pass. There it is. I feel like the surgicals are a trap. I'm still pretty happy with what we have. So we'll just go ahead and do it. We would like to play first. And just not a keepable hand again. Just these hands of not being great. But I assume that we'll keep this. We'll keep that. So that means I don't want to fetch, so I can't play the birds, so I'll play the planes and play the mum. Which is still a fine turn 1 play. Petal Tomb's pretty good. What do I want to do? I think I want to play the Ghost Quarter and then Ghost Quarter their Ancient Tomb in their upkeep. This could be intuition, and it is, so... yeah, perhaps it would have been better to bring in those surgicals, but we did not see it in game 1 or 2, so... Omniscience is pretty good. At least here we get to hit their Ancient Tomb. They will get to search for a basic, but I guess we just hope they don't have anything else. They don't. So we'll put in this Quasali, and then not do anything until they cast. Ugh. In response, we're gonna try and hit this Omniscience. They just have Cunning Wish. These games. We'll just concede. So not the not the way we wanted to do this. So we're gonna play another league. And most likely with this, I think we will add in Walking Ballista. I really like the Mind Sensors right now. So we might bring in another here. Perhaps drop a Fligwisp just because it's not the best. Drop a Revoker. We can play... Soldier Tribal would be pretty cool. But... what do we want? What do we want? We want Eldrazi Displacer. So we'll drop, yeah, we'll keep it like this. Only 3 Stoneforges? Come on, mate. What are you doing? So 23 lands, that's fine. Yeah, Big Thalia, Flicker Wisp. Just as a 3, which I'm pretty fine with. I like this sideboard. We can just play this. We can just play this. Let's go to the play lobby. Let's go to the leagues. Hopefully we can use colorless taxes and play points. Hey all. Alright. We did something bad. We went 0-5. We went 0-5. That's not great. So to go 5-0, to go 4-1 and then 0-5, that's Yeah. Frustrating. It is. But we'll see how this deck goes. I've been a big fan of it. Oh, can you really? That's really interesting. I did not know you could do that. But, welcome, Grekins. Just want to shout out as well to my sponsor, MTG Mate, which is a pretty new Australian website for MTG singles from a local player and Magic aficionado. Of course, if you're in need of any cards, MTG Mate is where it's at. This hand is a little bit weird. We have both Ancient Tombs in the opening hand with a Vial. No white mana. It does have the Vial though. But I feel like it's just a little bit too much. So we're going to mulligan this. Alright, we'll keep. And we'll put the white on top. Which is great. So I'm actually going to lead with the Ancient Tomb. And then see if next turn we can play the Recruiter of the Guard. Obviously getting something that will help in whatever matchup this is going to be. So there's a Verdant. That doesn't tell us much. This could be some sort of Bug Delver variant or even Maverick. This could be Elves. Green Suns. Oh, okay. So what I like doing here is getting this Plains. Playing this Recruiter of the Guard. And perhaps going after Walking Blister. I think that's the best card right now that we can get. And then just passing turn. So this looks like Elves. It could also be Maverick. So something like Knight of the Reliquary would be really good. For them, of course, not so much for us. Not too sure if this is a well-known player. There's a Savannah, so that tells me that this is going to be Maverick, especially with that Sylvan Library. And there's Mum. Okay. So what we can do here is play the Wasteland. Play this Walking Blister for 2. We will go to combat. I want to kill this Dryad Arbor now to keep them off mana. I don't really care about the Mother of Runes right now. I'd love to draw a land next turn so I could pump this Walking Blister up and also take care of the Mother of Runes. Going down to 14, so obviously drawing a card. Obviously seeing what they like, unless they see... Oh, okay. So this could be some sort of Nick Fit variant, but it's... That changes things a little bit. There's a sword, which is really nice. So I'm very keen... I believe what I'll do is take care of this Mum. Swords this Knight. And then most likely play this sort of Fire and Ice. Now I'll get him for 1. So pretty happy with the turns there. That sword came up right right at the perfect time, but the Sylvan Library is really going to do some work for them. Most likely a Green Suns for another night, which is fair enough. I'm going to have a hard time beating it if I don't draw some sort of removal. Aether is not really where we want to be. But what we can do is cast Recruiter. I feel like Palace Jailer is where we kind of have to go. We could get a Thalia to stop their mana. Even Mind Sensor works really well against them. But I think it's the Jailer that we really want to hit. And then we can use this Wasteland for the Vial. A little bit late to the party, but I'll take a Vial any day of the week. No great attacks, of course. We can't attack. They will need a Wasteland me to get me off this Palace Jailer, which either means they can use the Knight or draw one naturally. Pride Mage is pretty good. Green Suns for 1, okay. Oh wow. It's pretty good. So not too much we can do against that. So we did draw a Mind Sensor, which is pretty good. This Wasteland can't do too much. I'd rather keep it around for mana. So we're just going to pass turn here. See if they use a Knight as well. And they are, which is pretty cool. See if we can maybe strip mine them. Most likely not. Here I could also get rid of, say, the Volrath Stronghold or the Canopy. I might see what happens first here with the Knight. It's another forest, so I might take them off their white source. They do have the Knight, but we do have the Mind Sensor, so they kind of cancel each other out a little bit in regards to Maverick being able to develop their mana through the Knight. There goes the sword, which is fair enough. Sylvan Safekeeping, not a card that you usually see in Maverick, but kudos to them to playing it. Works really well with Green Sun Zenith, and of course is pretty brutal with neither Reliquary out. Not only sacrificing a land to give it Shroud, but also boosting it up as the game prolongs. Excavate is pretty good. No attack, which is interesting. So we'll untap, we'll tick up this vial to 2. Draw planes, which isn't the worst. Can't really use this Jailer yet. But pretty happy to play out Athalia. And attack in the air. Sacking this forest here and finding in the top 4 cards of their library a Verdant Catacombs. Fair enough. Perhaps even just wanting a shuffle for their Sylvan library with the Knight, which I think like shuffling in Legacy is just very underrated, especially when you need card manipulation, or at least ways to get rid of card manipulation that's gone wrong, in the form of like locking yourself with a Sylvan library or a Brainstorm. There's the swords. Pretty good. Stoneforge is pretty good, especially when Avon's off the field. So if it's a Jitte, it's not looking too good. They could even sack one of the lands for a Gaze Cradle and attack in with this Jit, but obviously not looking to. Very interesting. We'll tick this up to 3, just because we can. We have 2 mana anyway for the Thalia. Wasteland not really doing anything here other than being a mana piece. No good attacks with the X3 in the Excavator, so another pass. Always fun to be on the wrong side of a Maverick deck doing well. Because it is a really fun deck to play, especially when you're playing around with Volrath Stronghold and Sylvan Safekeeper. I could have actually kept the Vial on 2, so that if they go for Jit this turn, I could block with the Thalia and then play the other one off Vial, but that's not going to happen. So very keen to take out the Thalias. The Warping Whale's not the best. I might keep just 1 in. The Rest in Pieces seeming really good. The Judgment's pretty good as well, just as pseudo removal. Grafdigger's Cage is really good against Green Sun Zenith. The Gut Shots don't have too many. We'll see. I think the Gut Shots are pretty good. Perhaps just 1 Gut Shot. And perhaps the Council's Judgment just isn't needed. I feel like it's the Displacer that goes back. So pretty happy with this 60. Not sure why I can't submit. The submit button kind of seems a little bit off. This is 60? Unless I already submitted. Oh, the sideboard's 17 cards. What? Did we submit? We submitted a 62 card deck. Okay. So we're playing with 62. Interesting. Okay, I guess. We've got a... I think we drop the displacer and we submit this. So from a deck building perspective, this is awful. But from a place perspective, this seems sweet. We'll keep this. We get to go Cracks and Aetherbar, which is awesome. And then we have Mums for days, which is nice as well. Drawing a 3-drop that just has 1 white mana would be great. Just as a play after this Ancient Tomb. Which isn't going to happen, which is fine. But we'll play a Mum, play a Tomb. And then we'll just pass turn. We could play the Revoker in the blind, naming something like Knight of a Reliquary, but I really want to name something that's going to actually impact this game. And off the Vial, I can use it at instant speed, which is great as well. Sylvan Library is pretty good. I believe my only out to that is Council's Judgment, which I believe I left out. Palace Jail is not too bad. A little bit late. I don't really want to play anything now. I'll keep the Revoker back, and I'll just pass turn. Something like a Zealous Persecution is really good against this current board. Especially really everything. But we'll see how it goes. Noble Hierarch is fine. The Bayou and the Plains looks a lot like Zealous Persecution, which isn't great. Tile Struck is okay. We might target the Clue to make them tap out. Which is fine, because now we have a really good target for this Palace Jailer. So we will tick this up to 4 and this other one up to 1, just to make sure we do get this Palace Jailer on board. Wasteland's really good there. To take them off black before they can hopefully draw Zealous Persecution would be awesome. But in saying that, it might be a hard task. Especially when they currently have 7 cards in hand, so This is looking rough. They may even just want to Zealous and then hopefully get this Hierarch in to at least trade for the Palace Jailer. So there's the Zealous. So what we'll do is try to get the Palace Jailer pro green. And then give pro white. And then that happens, sadly. Judgment's pretty good. So here I'm pretty happy just untapping, not ticking up this one, but ticking up this file. Playing the Wasteland, taking them off black mana for now, and then just passing turn. We get to draw on an end step, which is fantastic. Just a Plains, which isn't the greatest, but better than nothing. So yeah, Zealous Persecution, huge card. A 3-for-1 in that case. Really a 4-for-1, but... I'm gonna throw this Revoker under because I feel like it's worse than the Swords. So, to be fair with the second one, it won't do anything. So we might as well name something that we know is going to impact this game, like Knight of the Reliquary. And we'll go to Swords this with the Exalted triggers in the stack. So at least we get another draw, which is great. Stoneforge, a pretty great card. Jute enters the battlefield, which is fair enough. So we will always know. Oh wow, it's gone up to 5. A little bit annoying. 3 planes in a row isn't the greatest either. So I'm pretty happy just to keep this Revoker back and see what we draw. Another Revoker. So pretty happy for them to play the Jit, equip to creature, attack with the creature, block with the Revoker, and then flicker it. Pride Mage is pretty good. Interesting. That is more than fine. No blocks. Tireless Tracker is also very good. Oh, wow. Now they get the... Yeah, that's a massive mistake because now they get the crown. This is awful. I am playing awful. This is terrible. And there's a birds. Pretty good. So now that it's going wide, and I think it's going to be pretty hard for us to try to catch up. So now we'll have to do something stupid like put Vile in this Flicker Wisp and flicker out their bird as a blocker, so I can hopefully get back this crown. Another land isn't great. Here we'll have to play this Revoker. Oh. In the second main. If they use the Pride Mage, that's awesome. If they don't, we might have to name Jit anyway, just to see that they use the Pride Mage. And hopefully draw into some sort of removal. But this game isn't looking great. Sadly not, but you did not miss anything. It's been a very poor showing. Hopefully not another land. And it's just another land. It's more than likely going to be game. Alright, we'll go straight into the second one. So, not a great... Sadly, this is the second league. First league not doing the greatest with an 0-5 record. Not my proudest moment, to say the least. League 1 went 0-5. Yeah, O is a great response. But hoping to do a little bit better with this deck. Sadly, it is 62 cards. We did do a mischeck with the deck, so we haven't tried winning yet, but it has been the plan for my opponents. So that actually could be a good option and strategy to adopt, I guess. But sometimes winning's just not where you want to be in the leagues, especially. But you know, we might try that out in this game. So stay tuned, and we'll hopefully get there. But yeah, just not lining up well. Could be sideboarding, could be how I'm playing. Yeah. Down the dumps, but hey, hopefully we join this match quite soon. We get the die roll, which is great. We have a pretty good hand. We'll keep this. we have some good decisions to make. So here I'm pretty happy to play the Caracas into Mum. They mulligan to 6, which is a little bit interesting. Island Ponder, okay. So we could be looking at something like Miracles, Combo. This really doesn't tell us much, sadly. Unless they play something like a Lotus Petal. It could be Show and Tell or Sneak and Show. Just thinking that if I play a turn 2 Thalia, that Lotus Petal is then going to cost a mana itself to play. But yeah, Island into Ponder, especially with no fetch land, that doesn't give away a lot. But it does tell me that drawing into a Thalia would be pretty good. Draw into a Port, which is pretty much just the same thing. So we'll keep that Thalia back, and here we will tap down this island. Bloodstained Mire. This could be Storm, and for that reason, I'm pretty happy to play this Wasteland. Stay away from the plains so they can't like maybe massacre us. And then just pass turn. Baleful Strix, interesting. So looking at Grixis control most likely. So this hand is actually going to work out pretty well. So more than happy to now get rid of this basic plains. So we can actually attack in, which is great. Here we can even keep them off black. Could be a main deck Diabolic Edict. They could also be going for a Brainstorm. There's a Snapcaster, so most obviously flashing back Ponder so that they can play a land and then Ponder, which is fair enough. There's the Ponder. Okay. That's more than fine. So this Warping Whale is looking to hit something like a Toxic Deluge. We could also exile one of these creatures. There are a few different things that it can get us out of, which is nice. We do now have a target for Wasteland as well, which is quite great. No point not attacking with Baleful Strix, because even a double block doesn't work out well for my opponent. Another Warping Whale. Alright, so we'll Wasteland them first. We'll then attack in. Upkeep will take them off black. Hopefully they don't have something like Diabolic Edict. That would be pretty good. Especially because I can't cast this Warping Whale to make a 1-1. Ancient Tomb would actually be a really good draw, because then I could keep up Ancient Tomb and Plains to play a Warping Whale. Or a Swords if really need be. Interesting. Another Caracas. Not really where I want to be, but that's fine. We'll just pass here. I'm assuming they want to brainstorm and fetch. I could tap down the fetch in response to the brainstorm, but of course they can just untap. Fatal push. In response, you will give Mum Pro Black. I believe they might have Colligan's Command, and if so, I'm pretty happy with just leaving up the port for the Warping Whale. It's more to cast it. We can't really interact with it, but we do have this dead Caracas to discard, which is quite nice. So 2 damage, and I discard a card, so that is more than fine. We'll discard this Caracas. So right here, I'm actually pretty happy just to exile this Baleful Strix. The Snapcaster is not too bad, I can always trade with it, but the Baleful Strix with the Death Touch can sometimes be a bit of a concern. Stoneforge is a pretty good draw. So play Stoneforge, and we will go and get Jitte, I guess? Jit's probably the best. Wow, forcing it. Okay. That's fair enough. So here, I'm pretty happy to tap down their Badlands, keep them off double black. Don't really want like a Liliana of the Last Hope hitting the field. Even something like Jace would be pretty huge as well. We are in that mid-game section, so a Jace in hand is actually not that unlikely. What you got? 3 cards in hand against 3 cards in hand, so we are winning the damage race, but they do have a little bit more mana than us. Snapcaster into Fatal Push is of course a pretty good line as well for them, especially while I'm tapped out. But if they had Snapcaster and this land, I assume they would have flashed back Colligan's Command. Played the land and then cast it with Snapcaster. Fetching for Jace, perhaps. There's an Underground Sea, so it could actually be Lily, which would be pretty bad. Oh, Gomag, okay. Aethervile's pretty dead here. What we can do is swords this Gomag. Then pretty happy to attack. No blocks. Damage. I feel like this port is a little bit outdated, so we might as well just get this Aethervile online. It's a little bit late, but I mean Flicker Wisp and other draws are just so much better with Aethervile instead of just being a creature by itself. So that is a thing. 2 cards in hand. Hopefully not a Snapcaster. Snapcaster is probably the worst case right now. And it looks to be, unless it's a Baleful Strix, it's a Snapcaster. Most likely 2 damage discard, so I'll try to keep the Batterskull around. And hopefully draw a land, that'll be great. And then we can cast this Batterskull. We'll tick up. We can't play that. So what do we want to do? I think we just want to pass back. Not shuffling, wow, and there's the hymn. So might as well play the Mind Sensor. And then the Batterskull sadly goes. No blocks. Happy to untap. Happy to tick up this Vial. Not really a great draw. Happy to attack here, but 1 minute earlier would have been great. I'm fine with keeping this in hand. It's gonna be it. Bolt's gonna get there. So pretty rough. But what do we have? Woodleaf Liege is hilarious. Rest in Peace seems sweet, so does Council's Judgment. Surgical's pretty good. Spyglass is okay. Against the Lillian Jace, we kind of need it. So the Stoneforge package just isn't good enough, I don't believe. And then, of course, with the 63 card deck, we do have to put back 1 more card. Swords isn't the best. I'm going to actually bring in 2 gut shots and drop another sword. And voila. We have a deck that does something at least. I'd love to play first. This hand is fine. We'll keep this. Turn 2 Aethervile, turn 2 Rest in Peace is pretty good. Of course, if they him us as well, they're most likely going to hit the Woodleaf Liege. Because next turn, we'll draw a card, we'll Wish and Port, play the Rest in Peace. And that's just going to be game. Yeah, there's nothing coming. So sadly, not where we want to be. We just want to get a game. But yeah, pretty rough. I mean, like 4 planes and Richmond and Port after a really good hand is just not going to get us a win. And our opponent just turning Baleful Strictures into value and extra cards is pretty hard to match up against as well. So yeah, Grixis is a pretty hard deck to deal with. A fine hand. It's a pretty fair hand, but we'll keep it. Turn 1 Moment to turn 2 Stoneforge is fine. If we drew an Aether Vial, that'd be quite nice on the draw. It's still an okay hand, but interesting. If I draw a Plains, I'm pretty happy just to Wasteland here in their upkeep. Not getting stifled, which is nice. I'm going to assume this might be Blue-Black Shadow. How do you find Grixis versus regular D&T post DRS? A little bit, pretty rough. Colligan's command is still so good. And then you also still have, like, Baleful Strix is really annoying to deal with. You don't really want to swords them, but there's Gurmags, but you want to get damage through. Yeah, it's pretty rough. They have a lot of 1/1 removal as well, and Snapcaster Mage as well is just a beating. That card's just gas, especially when you're getting back Fatal Pushes or Bolts, or even Hymn to Turak. Hymn to Turak can be really good against D&T. Just because we don't really have the resources to keep up. Once we keep a hand, we're kind of keeping that 7 and playing a game out with it. And really just relying on the top of our deck more than anything to get mana through. This could just be a Gurmag here, which is pretty rough. Yeah, K-Command into Snap is rough. K-Command into anything is rough, to be fair. Another Plains, not doing too much. We'll play this Thalia to try to keep them off some mana at least at the start. At least now they can't snap into Fatal Push. They have a Thoughtseize, so nothing really good to take. Perhaps the Sword, and then just make sure that these Stoneforges don't do too much more. Taking the Thalia, which is really interesting. Perhaps they feel they're actually already pretty well aligned with these other cards, but missing their land drop as well, which is pretty huge. So we're going to get Batterskull here, and then attack in with this Thalia. Next turn, hopefully drawing a land so we can actually just Stoneforge in this Sword of Fire and Ice. Yeah, very lucky actually that I missed a land drop. I feel like there it is. This Thalia is doing a lot of work, which is great. And it's just one more turn that they can't, say, snap into a Fatal Push. Well, there's Fatal Push. And here might be Thoughtseize. Surely not another one. Maybe Gurmag? Red, interesting. Bolt? Ugh, rough. Okay. So now we can still go Thalia into Stoneforge, hopefully. Nope. We will play the Thalia, but... and just hope that this at least gets there somehow. feels like Snapcaster. Him. Oof. Back off. Back off. So what do we want to do here? I actually feel like this Thalia is really good. So we're going to get in with attacks first. They did take it for a reason, I believe, with their Thoughtseize, so perhaps it is a little bit better than against a key command deck where Stoneforge Batterskull just isn't that great. If they tap out for Jace, we do have 5 power, which is great, so no matter what they do, I believe the Jace will pass. Wow, okay. What do we want to do? I think we want to get rid of this Batterskull. We do still have Jit with the Stoneforge, which is fine. Wow, this is gonna be the Gurmag. I think it is. It's pretty good. Port's just not really where we want to be. We can keep them off red, which is nice, but it's only so good. We can keep them off Bolt or Jace. I feel like we want to keep them off red mana. Warping Whale, interesting. We're just gonna pass. We won't tap them out. Again, nothing interesting. So here we'll put the Jin into play. And tap them out of red. Okay. It's a little bit better. So here I'm pretty happy to actually just play the Recruiter. Get Palace Jailer, I guess? Palace Jailer's pretty good. We'll get Palace Jailer. Then we'll just pass back. Interesting. So we can play this Jailer. Sweet. Attack him with just the Thalia. I want to keep a few creatures back in case they have like Snapcaster into other cards, but it's looking pretty grim for them. Kind of wish I had this Warping Whale to pay for something like a Toxic Deluge. Baleful Strix is fine. Cracking the Delta, interesting. Perhaps they drew a Jace. It looks like it. No cards in hand. Okay. Looks like they're fate sealing. Okay. So I think we want to exile this Strix. Put the Jit on the Thalia. Maybe the Recruiter. We care about the Thalia, so if they kill it, it doesn't 2-for-1 us, kind of, by taking out a good attacker as well. We'll go to attacks. That can attack Jace for 2, that can attack Jace for 2, that can attack Jace for 1, and this can attack Tom. Get to draw a card, which is great. They have a Strix, it's not going to be enough. Okay, game 1, down. Let's take out this package. Stoneforge is gone. Let's bring in the rest in pieces, let's bring in the Wootly Fleesias, let's bring in the Gut Shot, maybe a Surgical, the other Gut Shot. Perhaps a Councils. That seems fine. Take out a Swords, put in a Gut Shot. Cool. Happy with that. Could have brought in the Sorcerer's Spyglass, but we didn't, so deal with it. But yeah, Grix is usually a pretty rough matchup. These Lieges are a little bit cute. Something like Gideon could be a better choice, especially with the mana slot. We could get it down turn 3 with Ancient Tomb. So yeah, Gideon just seems better, really. Let's be honest. This hand is fine. Ponder first. No Thoughtseize, which is pretty good. We get to keep this Aether Vial. But I'm sure later down the line it's going to hit us pretty bad. So we'll play this Caracas and play this Aether Vial. It sticks, which is great. Two mana, either probably fetching for him or a Strix. Him's pretty good. And it takes both our 1-drops. Fair. So we will tick up. They want to play the Cavern. Play this Recruiter. Pretty happy to get Mum here. I think Mum's pretty good, especially with Aether Vial. Brainstorm's pretty nice because it means that this turn they're not K commanding, which is always a great sign. Another him would be pretty bad. These matchups are just so grindy, especially against Grixis. Just 1-for-1ing, making land drops, seeing where you can maybe get a 2-for-1 and a bit of value, and then just trying to just squeeze a win out of it. But they're rough, to say the least. Interesting. No him here, which is great. Ooh. Ponder into Gurmag is pretty good. Interesting. Perhaps leaving up Fatal Push for this Mother of Runes? Never really know. There it is. Alright. Untap. We will tick this file up. Revoke is pretty good, especially on this board. Pretty happy to go land naming human. And then actually just get this Displacer online. Attack with the Recruiter. Hopefully they tap out for a Planeswalker next turn that we can name with Phyrexian Revoker. And then just start beating away there. If Grixis was being played a lot more in Brisbane, my local area, I'd definitely start playing probably Spirited Labyrinth, which is a pretty awesome card, not only for Brainstorm and Ponder, but also for Jace and Baleful Strix. So it looks like nothing here. It could be K-Command. Interesting to see the push. Is this going to be Jace? Oh, a Bolt. That is fine. Last Hope is the biggest blowout, so we're just going to name this. And then hopefully untap. If not, they might just make us discard and blow up something. Three mana open, it's most likely a K command, and they're figuring out what they want to do. If they want to kill my Recruiter and Revoker as an artifact, if they want to destroy the 8th file and make me discard, there's definitely a lot of options. Which, yeah, it's going to be pretty brutal. There it is. Okay. Pretty good draw. Strix is pretty good. Gaining a card. I'd love to see a Rest in Peace around very soon. There's a Wasteland. Not the greatest either. Play this recruiter. Getting a palace jailer. I just want to start getting some card draw. And if they have removal in hand disruption, that's more than fine, but I really just need to get this online. I could also go for walking blister, which is interesting, but I feel like palace jailer is just going to be better. If they try to make me discard, I can actually return the Thalia to hand, which is quite nice. So I'm just going to do that. They could just hit me then, but that's fine. I feel like snap into him's probably coming. Engineered explosives for 3. Interesting. So we'll attack first. And here's Jailer. Not taking what we don't really want to use it on a Strix, but the card draw is just so good. And this means that I'm going to get at least 2 cards out of it, which is great from this turn and the following turn, just because they won't have a creature with haste, which is awesome. And yeah, this is pretty good. They have no cards in hand as well, so hopefully they draw into nothing. It's a little rough because even Snapcaster off the top is just huge. And that's going to be pretty much what they're going to do. So we're going to discard, and I feel like it's going to be the Mother of Runes. Interesting they didn't try to get back something, but I guess that's just not what they wanted to do. So no cards in hand. What can we do? I feel like the best thing to do is just play this Thalia with Caracas open. And hit one of their red lands, I guess. Probably a blue source. Alan, thank you very much, and I also hope that it hits me, but I'm not looking too bad this game. 1 card in hand, something like a Liliana Last Hope off the top would be pretty insane. Thoughtseize is fine. That does increase our clock, which is great. Our planes isn't much, but what this does mean is that we do get to get in for 2 and then start putting them down off red mana, which is great. And with no cards in hand, it means that that's probably off Liliana last type 2. Adrian, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for coming in and watching me 06 so far. But I might see you around for lunch at some point. Ashin. Flicker Wisp is pretty sweet because that's a 2-turn clock now. So what I can do is go to attack phase, swing in with Thalia. And here, I can play this Flicker Wisp, targeting Caracas. Here, I'm happy to use my Ancient Tomb to keep them off Badlands. And it's gonna be the game, which is nice. It's a win, which is perfect, and it breaks the mold, which is even better. So I'm gonna play one more, and then probably call it quits, because it has been a double night. But win against Grixis is pretty good. Feeling pretty good about that. My realization of Gideon being probably just better overall than Wiltleaf Liege is definitely a thing. Love the goblin heads, or orcs. Most likely orcs. Yeah, pretty grindy game to say the least. Those matches go for ages, and just Baleful Strix and Snapcasters, they just make me want to play like Holy Light in the sideboard. It's just not the funnest match, but that's it's part of Magic. This is a great hand. We'll keep this. Turn 1 Aether Vial is always nice. Oh wow, this could be Dredge. Going up to... Did I just skip my turn? Oh wow. Oh wow. Did we... Is that what just happened? Did I skip my first turn? I feel like I did. 2, 4, 6, 8 cards in hand. Ooh, okay. Wow, yeah, okay. That's rough. That's really rough. Oh, wow, okay. Liliana's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty insane. That's pretty stupid. I think I was just talking. I'm pretty sure I was just talking. We'll discard a Lily. Thalia, sorry. So what do we want to do here? I feel like we just want to play out Thalia and go from there. I kind of want to keep the Thalia around, so I'm going to sack the Mum, just so that if they don't have a blocker that isn't Knight of the Reliquary, they have to block. To keep the Here, I'm pretty happy to exile it. If possible. They may have a daze. Could also have force. But there is going to be one less daze or force they have for this Thalia coming down next turn, which is pretty good. There's force. Playing around daze really nicely with this Ancient Tomb, which is great. Alright, the eye's back online, hopefully. Oh, Wasteland. Wasteland into Bolt's pretty good. There's Bolt. Okay. Von Snickety, hey hey. We are currently in game 5. We are currently 2-2. And this game's shaping up to be a Rip Snorter. So, playing around days there with the Mother of Runes and not just jamming the Stoneforge Mystic. They only have 3 cards in hand, so pretty optimistic that we can get one here. They may just be a little bit too slow with this young Pyromancer. Yeah, very much want the 3-2 after going 0-5 in the one before it. Another Bolt. Wow. That's pretty good. Well, sometimes you just can't be Bolt. So there's a Mum, so we can at least go... No, did I just tap it targeting itself? Is that what I just did? Jeez, that's rough. That is rough. Yep. Gutshot seems great. Thorn of Amos seems great. Council's Prelate seems good on 1, even though we're bringing in some stuff. Canonisters to slow them down seems really good as well. We do have to take out a few cards. So, we will take out New Thalia. We'll take out the Mind Sensors, 1 Recruiter. The Palace Jailer seems bad against the deck going sideways. We have to stay with the 62 card deck because we can't sideboard more than 15 and we didn't check the deck before we made this, so let's just submit this 62. It seems pretty good. Sadly, we can bring in the Council's Judgment in case they bring in True Name, so maybe a Warping Whale can go out. Actually, the Revokers seem pretty bad. Take out the Revokers. Bring in maybe 1 Aven. Maybe the Recruiter is better. We'll go with this. I like this. Let's go with this. Haha. Yeah, this is a pretty loose deck, but... Yeah, that's true. Gutshots are free. This hand is fine. Nothing too bad. Play this Mum and pay us. Wow, Force. Damn girl. She just wants to play. She just wants to play. Delver, nice. So I'm pretty happy swordsing this. And then passing turn. Interesting ponder. I should get eye drops. It's annoying. It came out of nowhere. Oh, please get a non-basic so we can wasteland you. Yeah. Oh, this is sweet. So we can ballista for 1. Kill Delver. Wasteland them. What a turn. What a turn. Oh, naughty, naughty. Not a good time for them. Pretty happy to play this Aether Vial out. Hopefully it doesn't get dazed. Don't really care if it does. Floating in blue and dazing? That's fine. Nope. Hey, at least they now have a land drop for next turn, so, you know, nice play by them. Nice play. Oh, and drawing a polluted delta, obviously, because they would have played it last turn if they didn't. Underground Sea, interesting. Thoughtseize? Gurmag, perhaps. Looks like it's Gurmag. Nice. Canonist seems okay. We'll play Canonist. We'll play around days. Keep the 1 planes up. There's not too much that kills Canonist that doesn't kill Displacer anyway, so happy with this. They have a 4-turn clock. Delver's fine. They can't play another plane. Here we can equip. Can we attack? Hopefully no Fatal Push. Oh, interesting. Now we can try to play this Aether Vial. And then try to kill this Delver. It's gonna happen. Ponder means no true name this turn if they do play it, which is great. And it's the only card, it's actually the only way they can only cast this Ponder this turn, which is even better. Ooh, it's working out. Oh, they're trying to tap mana for something else, but they know they can't. Aha! Flicker Wisp, interesting. So we can go to combat first. And then I'm pretty keen to try out this Eldrazi Displacer, which gets straight through. So I'm just going to gain 2 life right now. Just to go up to 12, get that little bit of a buffer, which is always nice. Wow, there's Ponder. So again, this means they can't attack unless they want to trade, because they can't play any other effects. Wow, and they're gonna let me trade. There it goes. Big fish, little fish. Thalia's pretty good. We're going to put that in right now if we can. Boom. And then happy just to attack with this at this one Canonist. Canonist doing some real work here, which is great. No real point switching over the Jit to the Thalia, so we're just gonna keep it like that. Excuse me right there. There's a fetch. This could be True Name. It is True Name. Okay. Oh, a weird looking True Name. We will tick this up to 3 for Flickwisp Shenanigans. Port's pretty good. How many counters are on this Jit? Can we see? How do you see that? How do you see how many counters are on this Jit? That's really annoying. We're just going to pass turn here anyway. I feel like we can take them off red. I could definitely do that as well. But with the preordain here, it looks like it's not really needed. I will definitely equip to the flyer. So what I will do here is stop on my opponent's turn. Target their I meant to target my port. Of course, I meant to target my port. Well, that's a nothing play if I ever saw one. We will not use Aetherwell's ability. Stoneforge, interesting. So I don't really have to care about this one land because I do have the Thalia out, so we will get in. Just gonna pump it up a bit. Do I want to play this Stoneforge? I feel like I do. There's a fetch. This could be Force Will, but I think that's going to be game anyway. It's not. Interesting. This is going to be tough for them. And there it is, luckily. Still pretty happy with what we have. We do have Council's Judgment as a main deck answer to True Name. So let's go for a 3-2, hopefully. I saw the Gomag, but I still don't think Rest in Peace is good enough for this matchup. Gomag's never really an issue either. In before I die to it this time. An okay hand, but nothing special. We do have the Cavern, but they do have Wasteland. We don't have any removal. But I'm still pretty happy with it. I think this is pretty good. Ponder, please. Preordain. Okay, that's fine. At least we know they can't untap and go Bolt and Wasteland on this Mother of Runes and Cavern of Souls, which is great. So That's pretty awesome. If we draw, okay, that's interesting. So here we'll name human, and then we'll tap it for a white to cast its mum. And then now we actually have a really nice curve of mum into canonist into recruiter, if not flicker wisp. We'll see how that ends up. Fetching straight away, so obviously have some sort of removal for this mum. Most likely a bolt, which is fine. Delver's a pretty good follow-up. I'll give them that. We'll still play the canonist, even though we have this. Stoneforge Mystic. I feel like we have the time, which is good. Oh, still a 1/1. Just playing True Name, okay. It's a pretty good draw, so I'm gonna play the Wasteland. Just make a white anyway for this. Oh, I can't. It sticks, which is great. So here I'm pretty happy to get sort of Fire and Ice and then waste them off red. They don't know we have the Batterskull, which is even better. Delver's still not flipping, wow. Interesting. Fetching first, so I'm assuming this is going to be Ponder. And that's their spell for the turn, which is great news for Stoneforge Mystic. If we draw, say, a Swords to Plowshares, that's pretty awesome because that can be the one spell for our turn, and then we can still use that mana to put in the Batterskull with Stoneforge Mystic. We draw a Karakas. I'm pretty happy to play this Plains and pass. Oh, we can actually attack. Wow, another miss. So pretty lucky on these Delvers. Another 3. They play a Delver. In response, we might as well just put in this Batterskull. And then I'm happy to equip this sort of Fire and Ice to the Canonist next turn. Just so that if they do want to deal with these threats, they'll have to deal with both of them differently. Oh, a Braid. Okay. That's fair. Interesting that they didn't hit the Batterskull. I feel like the Batterskull was my way into this game. So here I'm more than happy to attack him with both creatures. To be fair, if these Delvers flip, they have me on a 2-turn clock. And it looks like they don't. Wow. Again. What is happening? So I feel like what I want to do here is perhaps play this Flicker Wisp. Hitting Stoneforge. Can't attack with the true name there. Flicker Wisp has Summoning Sickness. Get the Stoneforge back and get Jitte. Now in their upkeep, try to swords one of these Delvers. Dazing it, which is more than fine. Wow. I can draw Ancient Tomb here. Let's get me out of this, which is pretty awesome. And I do. Oh my gosh. That's hilarious. Wow. Alright. Let's see what we got in the treasure chest. Hopefully something good. Collection, other products, treasure chest. We will open it. And 10 play points, nice. And a Micro Cincellatus. There you go. Alright guys, that is me. A huge thank you for those that have watched me throughout these leagues, especially the local players here in Brisbane. I hope you guys enjoyed what you watched. If you do, throw me a follow, that'd be really cool. I usually play D&T or Maverick. Definitely fair style decks. Fun snickety, thank you very much. Yeah, I hope you guys had an awesome time. Sadly, it wasn't really the result that we wanted to get. But sometimes you just gotta take it, and this time we will take it. So thank you again. Thanks to Paul for coming on board as a subscriber. That's really cool, and of course really appreciated. And yeah, thanks guys. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next Thursday.